Why are you being weird?
Oh no.
You guys, Rebecca's scaring me.
Is it on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what's happening? Am I getting proposed to today? Rebecca's being really awkward around me, and I don't know why. I think she's planning a surprise party for me tonight. She is.
On a Monday.
Look at her. She's not telling me the truth. You guys, this is so fun.
Crying.
I know it's happening. You're giving it away.
At the diner.
Oh my God. I was asking Rebecca if she could stay the whole day with me. And she keeps being very elusive and using phrases like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure today. Today, not sure. And I'm like,
read me for filth.
The only thing that this could mean is that she's planning a surprise party for me.
Yes.
And she doesn't want to tell me the details.
Secret's out. Eek.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your favorite podcast. It's called Stop the Internet Podcast. My name is Kelee.
And I'm Rebecca.
I'm going to beg and plead with you right now, okay? This is going to be really serious.
Me?
No.
Or them?
Them. But also you and me.
Okay.
Please share this podcast with your friends. And your haters and your enemies and your lovers. Please, okay? We were just having this conversation about how it's extremely difficult to grow a podcast, even though podcasts are like the exact same thing as a YouTube channel, and YouTube is like the thing, and it always has been. But I don't get it with the podcast. I don't know what's happening. But I do think that after watching a few Mr. Beast interviews, Mr. Beast is like, I feel like controversial because of the type of content he makes, but he knows YouTube in and out, and the tips that he gives are so interesting to me.
Okay.
And something that he does, I guess, in all of his videos is call to actions, and he's always like, go buy this, go subscribe to my channel, like at a really like interesting time
Okay.
of the video. Yeah, he'll just randomly be like, by the way, you should subscribe to my channel because whoa, like, and he says it in his like Mr. Beast way.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I don't even know what he looks like.
Really? He just looks like the most normal person. Like,
Wait,
if
I'm
you
gonna
saw him
look up.
walking down the street, you'd be like, okay, normal guy, just like you and me.
Got it. Okay.
Normal guy.
Normal guy. Oh, okay.
Did you expect that?
No. He looks familiar, but not
You wouldn't recognize
really.
him. Yeah.
Yeah. 26.
He's 26.
Dang.
He is 26 years old.
Yeah.
Wow. He looks older than that.
Huh.
Interesting.
Okay.
His videos do get me sometimes. They suck me in. But at the same time, I'm like, is this like, are they okay? Like, do you know his style videos at all?
No.
He will like lock people in like a grocery store. Like, he'll take a person and put them in a grocery store and be like, every day you last in here, you get $10,000. But it's like, that's really exciting. But then like they could like go mad in there. And then sometimes he'll enter and he'll be like, you've been in here for X amount of days. I'm going to make a bargain with you. You could leave now for like maybe the same amount of money that they would have made or like a little bit more. But then you give up the chance to win like $1 million and then they stay in there. He gives away a lot of money, but yeah, sometimes I'm like, I watched a video of his yesterday and he locked 2 people in a bunker 100 feet under the ground or something for 100 days. 100 days. They did not see the sun and they were fine. And the whole video is like 30 minutes. And so it flies by. And I feel like for the 5-year-olds, or not 5s, excuse me, 9-year-olds that watch this video and they're like his demographic, they're probably like, oh, this is crazy. Like 30 minutes. Wow. But like, think about what 100 days is. We're not even close to being 100 days into this year.
Right.
Like, we're less than 60 days into the year.
Yeah, that is crazy.
That is so crazy to me. And they don't see the sun. They don't see their family. They don't see like anything that happens in the real world. They don't have a phone and they're with a stranger.
Wow.
Just the psychological torment, I feel like that would be, I mean, if it's real. I'm going to guess it's real though, because I feel like he prides himself on like these things being real. I don't know. It's just crazy. Would you do that?
No.
How much money would it take you to live in a bunker for 100 days?
I don't think I just don't think I would do it.
You just never would.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I might, if there could be stipulations that they would pull me out if something bad happened. I mean, I'm sure there are. Like, if something bad happened to like someone in my family, because then at least I would know that as long as I'm in here, like my family is safe.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, but like 100 days.
No, I wouldn't do it.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Would you stay in it? How long? Okay. Living in a grocery store every day, $10,000.
Are you allowed to eat the stuff? Oh.
You're allowed to eat stuff. You're allowed to like, the guy built this whole, like he built a bed off of like products. He built like a little house to live in within the grocery
maybe
store.
Maybe like a week. I would
So you
agree.
would get
I would agree too.
70,000. Yeah.
That'd be fine.
I mean, that's a pretty good
after
income that's before. Yeah. But that's a pretty good income for 7 days.
Yeah. Maybe 5.
5. I feel like 7 though, honestly. I was going to say it would fly by. It's probably wouldn't fly by, but for the amount of money you're getting, it's not like you're not being well compensated. Like, it's not like you're being tortured and then you get nothing in return. Like, you are being very, very well compensated for it.
Yeah.
But the weird thing to me is that a lot of the people, not a lot, okay, I've only watched a handful of videos, so I'm talking as if I'm an expert. 2 of the videos I've watched, the people had children.
Oh.
And so they left, the guy in the grocery store left his wife and his like small child for, I don't know how long it was, I forget, but a very, very long time, months. But then think about it, like that kid is probably like set for life. Like they don't have to worry about like where are we sending him to school? Like he has a doctor's appointment, like nothing. It's fine.
I just like hate stuff like this. I think it's so dumb and like
it is
dystopian.
That's what it is. It's like I guess it's an entertaining video, but it's so crazy that it's real.
Yeah.
That they're literally locking 2 strangers in a bunker for 100 days. Like that's so wild. Okay, sorry.
That is wild.
I want to
It's okay.
share the news with me that you shared right before we started recording.
Okay. I'm so excited for this because Chase Sapphire opened a lounge in the Philadelphia airport between D and E, which if you go to the airport, it's kind of like a no man's land when you get closer to F.
Is that international or is that the...
I think E is Frontier and Spirit flights only. D, I feel like it goes by like A is international, A and B maybe.
Oh, yes. You're definitely right.
And then the further down you go, the further down the alphabet you go, the worse it gets in the airport.
Oh, really?
Because F is where I fly out of a lot because I do a lot of these like domestic flights to see my sister, and there's just nothing there. There's like 2 bars. It is kind of nice sometimes because it's not crowded ever, but it'll be nice to have a lounge nearby.
Yeah. Is that where the small planes go?
Yeah.
Okay, I've been there one time and you're right. It was really odd. It was so empty in there.
Very empty.
So if you're not flying on one of those flights, can you not access this lounge or are you able to get there?
Oh, no, you can. I do this too. Like you can go throughout the airport to like different whatever.
Okay.
You just have to walk. Or I guess take the tram. The little.
I don't think is there a tram in Philly?
That little, what's it called? Like the thing.
The bus? The little bus? Or the air train?
Wait, am I thinking of a different airport?
I think you might be because comparatively, I think Philly is not as big as other airports.
Okay. Then yeah, maybe I'm not thinking about.
Yeah.
But you just got to walk, get your steps in, guys.
Okay. Wow.
But this lounge is really cool. Apparently they offer like middle I can't talk today. It's because
so early.
We're recording so early.
Rebecca pulls me into the studio at 6 a.m. and then she's like, oh, I can't talk. Well, maybe we don't have to wake up at 4:30.
Just keeps getting less and less. You're like that girl that does the 3 a.m. morning routines.
I have thoughts on that, but we can finish the airport thing first.
Yes. Middle child clubhouse, food, I believe, Elixir coffee, full bar, everything.
So, okay, I've never been in an airport lounge. Crazy. No, I've actually never been in an airport lounge. Sorry, that was really embarrassing what I just did.
It's okay.
I was trying to do a bit. Like, have you ever seen the Stranger Things kids on... Okay, they went on Jimmy Fallon. Oh yeah, I guess you... But this one clip like went like very viral. It's like the like pop culture moments that I think about every night. This one clip got on one of those and it's Finn Wolfhard. They're on Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy's like, oh, learn how to read. And then he goes, learn how to host. And because everyone like goes like that as like a joke, but he did it to himself and it was so funny. And I think that's like such a funny bit to do, like saying something out of pocket and then being like to like do your own self. But anyway, I've never been in an airport lounge and I have no idea what they're like. So once you get in there, it's actually like everything is free.
See, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think it is free.
Wow.
I think there's an upcharge if you want, like if you don't want the Prosecco, you want like the Dom, then there's an upcharge maybe.
Wait, that's wild.
But there's
just allowed to get Prosecco for free?
I'm like 99% sure. It's been a while.
Okay. I guess you're paying them in using their credit cards and whatnot.
Yeah. The buffet is definitely free.
Wow. Actually, I did see a TikTok recently of like the airport lounge and they were like, with a $700, I don't have a credit card with $700 fee, but some people actually do. But I saw this video that was like, for $700, $200 yearly fee. This is what you can have access to. And it's like the most horrendous lounge with like a basket of like hard-boiled eggs that are already peeled and like a piece of toast that like has a bite out of it. It's so, and then people like sleeping in the chairs. And it's like, wow.
Luxury.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but it'll be nice. If I go, I'll report back on this podcast.
Yeah.
You'll be the first to know.
I hope I can go sometime. If I ever fly again. Wait, what was I just going to say? I said I have thoughts on something, but then I was like, I'll finish the airport thought first.
I don't know.
Oh, dang it. I thought it was going to be good.
My Substack?
Yes, Rebecca started a Substack.
I did. I write sometimes. Sometimes I write.
No, you're underselling yourself.
I'm being silly.
You're a writer.
I'm a writer, period.
Period.
It's called don'tcopyme.substack.com.
That's so good. Because she's a copywriter.
Yeah. But even if, I think that'd still be like a funny name. Like it's very like sassy.
But I also think the word copy, it's so perfect because it has a dual meaning.
Yeah.
Because it is like, yeah, don't copy me, exactly what it means. But the fact that copy is writing in like, well, okay, you wouldn't call it copy unless it's like an ad of some sort, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like ad copy, email copy.
Yeah.
Something in the marketing advertising world.
Right.
Like
Which
you
I
wouldn't call a blog copy.
Yeah, you wouldn't, right?
I don't, no.
Unless it's a blog for like a business that they're trying to promote their business. It's like the copywriter would write that. But yeah, they probably still wouldn't call it copy in the same way.
Yeah, it would just be like a blog.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So subscribe
to her Substack. We'll put it in the bio, or not the bio. I've been calling the description the bio. The description of this episode.
Yes. Okay.
I'll
the
put
show
link.
notes.
The show notes. Yes.
Show note copy.
Yes. So subscribe to that and please share this podcast with your friends and we can do it. Like I really think we can grow it. It's just a matter of taking the right steps, I guess.
Referrals. We need your help.
Almost every podcast you find is from word of mouth. So maybe we can just start paying our friends. Oh my God, you know what we should do? We should do an experiment where when this episode goes live, we should ask, because we're asking all of our listeners here to share it, we should ask every single one of our girlfriends, like, would you please do us a favor and share our podcast on your story and do an experiment like how many new listens would we get, if any? And I think that's a good friendship test as well.
I love a friendship test.
Do you ever think about how, first of all, I think people think too far into their Instagram story. Like I would be like, is it on brand for me to share that? Like, it's like, who the cares? Obviously it's on brand for me to share my own podcast. Like what the but sorry, I'm going to bleep myself. But I feel like people, I don't know, like we just all need to start supporting our friends way harder on Instagram stories. It's literally free. And you always see those quotes that are like a little bit corny, but they're true. And it's like, how to support your friend's business without spending any money. Like and subscribe to their channel and then follow their Instagram, repost their thing, forward their newsletter to someone that you think would like it. All these little things. And it's like, we really should be doing that way more. And I am not the first person to say this, but it's so true. When a celebrity that we like starts a brand, everyone is so quick to support them and love them. Specifically Rihanna, like she's an incredible musician and has so many fans. When she started her makeup line, it's makeup and lingerie, right? That she has two separate things. When she started both of those companies, people ate it up and they still do. But then if I started a makeup company, every girl that's ever hated me is going to be like, who the does she think she is? She's so embarrassing to like think that she can start a makeup line. But then at the same time as that, it's like eat the rich. Billionaires are immoral.
That's a good point.
Then why are we like endlessly supporting famous rich people and you hate on your childhood like classmate when they started? You know what? I will say, thinking back to my grade school, I don't think anyone would have done that because I've ran into almost everyone that I went to grade school with, which is total 11 girls, including me.
Wow.
So 10 other girls. And I think all of them are extremely kind and loving. And sometimes I was like nervous. Like we had this grade school reunion and I was like nervous because I was like, oh my God, what if they don't like me? What if they think I'm weird? Everyone is so kind. And I was like, you know what? You guys all proved me wrong in the best way. I don't know why I was ever nervous to like reconnect.
Yeah, that's so
and
sweet.
So I don't think they would do it. Maybe in my high school though. I don't know. I don't know them as well.
Story.
Yeah, I don't know them as well, you know? So whatever. Hopefully people wouldn't make fun of me, but you know, at the same time, my college bullies would.
Go
shout out to
that episode.
Shout out to my college bully episode. Please go and listen to it. I was bullied in college. Teaser. Sorry.
It's not even clickbait.
It's not even clickbait. I wish it was.
Oh,
no, just kidding. I've recovered.
Yes,
you know what?
yes.
I've
You've
come
moved
out on the
on.
other side.
Now you're a famous podcaster.
World famous. And so are you. And so are you.
You're a world famous podcast listener.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Counts.
It does. Do you have anything else to say?
Well, we went to New York.
We did. We went to New York this past weekend.
We had a fabulous time.
Whenever New York comes up, Rebecca is trying to convince me to move there, and I'm trying to convince her not to.
Because of everyone I know, you, I feel like, are the most likely to get on board.
Yeah.
So where are we at?
I told Rebecca if I triple my salary,
I know.
I can move there.
I feel that way too.
It's actually not, I will say the cost of things isn't that far off from Philly. Like we went out and I don't know, like I'm talking like takeout food or restaurants or drinks wasn't that different than Philly, but it's like I think it's the normal goods. Like if you were to get something from Target or something in Manhattan and the rent. The rent is so shocking.
Yeah, it is.
It is unfathomable to me how much some people pay for what they have.
I know.
Is the thing. Like $1,500 a rent. You're like, okay, like, you know, I have a job. I work hard. I can afford it. But then you see what $1,500 gets you. It would literally be less than the size of this studio with a shared kitchen and bathroom. And maybe there's a sink in there. And then if you pay $2,500, then you're in like maybe a nice size apartment.
Yeah.
And then to get anything else, it's like way more than that.
I think people justify it though because they're never in their apartment.
That's ridiculous.
And they're like always out and they're always whatever. And it's like, I feel like I know people like that who pay a lot and have kind of, you know, a less than desirable space, but they're really never home.
Really?
But it's like, I am not like that. I need a sanctuary to come home to. Even if I'm not home a lot necessarily, which I feel like I am, but like I need to feel at peace if I'm coming home.
I agree. I cannot imagine being like, well, I'm not home that much. What?
Yeah.
You might think you're not home that much because you go out, but that doesn't mean that well, I guess I'm projecting, but your home is still the place that if you tallied it up, you probably spend the most time there. But now I'm thinking maybe that's not true if you have a job where you work in an office and
you go out every night. And
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people really don't care about that.
I really think they don't. Otherwise, they wouldn't all be like roughing it.
That's crazy. I've heard people say that about like going on vacation, which I can totally relate to. On vacation, I feel like there's a difference between a vacation and traveling. If it's traveling, sure, I don't need a nice place to stay. I'll stay in like the cheapest, whatever the hell, Airbnb, because like when we're in France, we get up, we leave, and we don't come back until we're like going to bed. That's fine. But then to say that about your house, like, oh, I'm not there that much. What?
I know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, people do it.
Can we talk about the guys at the bar?
Oh, I actually wrote, not to plug it again, but
plug it again. Plug it again. Keep plugging it. This episode will be called Substack is Taking Over the World.
Okay.
And it can be all life updates. Not
Amazing.
life updates, but this is just who we actually are.
Life update.
Yeah.
I did start writing about our little trip. And I made like I put a little line in there. I don't think I'm going to like write really about it because, you know, I don't want to give them the space on my Word doc.
Yeah.
Period.
We'll give it to him here though.
Yeah. Because it's like a funny thing to say, but it's not like a fun thing to write about.
That is very true.
Different mediums.
We'll tell you what it is.
Yeah. But no, that's all I had to say. They were.
Oh, okay.
How did we even... Oh, they started talking to us.
Yeah, so we were at this restaurant at the bar because there was no more seats other than the bar. And it was me, Rebecca, and then these two guys sat down. And the one guy that was sitting next to Rebecca, very sweet vibes, very normal. Like, oh my God, what if they listen to this?
Oh, honestly, wait, I forgot we gave them our...
We did. We told them about it because it started with this guy just being like, hey, can I ask... First of all, he was very, very polite. He was like, hey, sorry to interrupt you. Could I ask you what you guys got? I saw this restaurant on Instagram and I heard about this one dish and I was going to ask if you got that dish or something like that. And we didn't, but we were like, oh, it's like really good, whatever. And then he's like, okay, cool, thanks. Turn back around. Like so polite. Then later, I don't know how we started talking to them again. Maybe they asked like, oh, what drink did you get? Like, we're gonna get a second drink. And then someone brought up Target and I was like, oh, I actually,
Walmart.
well, Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I was saying, like, I think it came up because I said I don't like Target. I think it's overpriced. And then we started talking about, like, where do you buy, like, your normal daily life goods? And I somehow brought up Walmart. And then we started talking about how the business model of Walmart is the same as the business model of Amazon. It's just, like, a name, but you have, like, millions of sellers within it. So then we started talking about, like, well, what do you do? We're like, oh, we have a podcast. She's a writer, like, whatever. And then the other guy told us what he does. But then the fourth guy, it's the fourth person. The second guy just like won't tell us what he does. And we're like, okay, are you like the heir to Walmart? Because like, you know how sometimes when people are like really, really rich, they just like are very elusive in what they do.
Yeah.
Which is fair. Like they don't want to like brag or something. Just be like, my mommy started Walmart, so I don't have to have a job. Yeah. But anyway, he like wouldn't tell us what he did for work. And then eventually he started saying how he does like import export. We're like, okay, fine. So you have like a normal job. And then I don't know how it happened. He started doing this like bit about importing and exporting humans and like organ trade.
It got weird.
It got really weird really fast. And we were like, oh, ha, ha, ha. And he was like, here's how you cut open like the cadaver and like blah, blah. And we were like,
I'm like, are you actually, I don't know if you're joking anymore.
It got to the point where I was like, now this is extremely detailed, this bit.
Oh, and then, oh my God, it's coming back to me. I was like, have you read Devil in the White City? And he was like, no, what's that? And I'm like, you're reminding me of him a little bit.
Can you tell us what it is?
It's basically a book from... so early. It's a book by Eric Larson, and it's about it's kind of a true story. Yeah, it's a true story about this guy who was a doctor during the Chicago World Fair in the 1920s.
Oh, wow.
But he was like secretly murdering women and kind of doing what this guy was saying. Like, just, I don't want to like get into graphic details, but he was giving that vibe a little bit.
Oh my God.
But it was like, his friend was so normal.
So normal.
And then and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah. And you could, the vibe that I was getting, I couldn't really exactly see the guy right next to you the whole time because I was like kind of looking around you. But the few times that I like looked at him to like see what his facial expression was, he like looked uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
Like it was like when his friend was making this possibly joke.
God.
He looked almost like, bro, don't say this. Like this is not, I don't know. Like he almost looked like, I'm sorry. In a way. I don't know.
That's a good point. So maybe he was kidding because the guy was like, oh, he's trying so hard. He was like giving that face.
I mean, I do think that he was kidding because I think that if you were actually crazy enough to do that, you would not even give someone the hint. Like, because I feel like based off of like every movie that I've watched, they are so charismatic and they just get people to trust them based on like their vibes, and that's it, actually.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he was charismatic. I think he thought he was charismatic.
Maybe.
And then we were going to go to this bar after, and then they were like, oh, we're going to blah, blah, blah. Like, you should come or like, we'll see you there. And we were like, and we're pivoting. And we're going to pivot.
That's so true. We actually pivoted our whole plan. We were going to go to this bar.
Yeah.
We're like, okay. And I actually still wanted to, which is the annoying thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wasn't like heartbroken over it, but it is funny that we were like, yeah, I'm not going anywhere else.
It's fine though. We got gelato. We had a wholesome end to the night.
Oh my God, the gelato was so good. Yeah. It was so fun going to New York. I was supposed to have a work thing, and then I agreed to watch my cousin's dog, and then the work thing got rescheduled, but we just went anyway, and it was really fun.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah, it was so fun. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you now to rough it with me in Brooklyn?
In Brooklyn?
We can get more bang for our buck over there.
See, I feel like if I were to move to New York, it's because I romanticize it in my head in the same way that I romanticize Paris. And I check flights every so often and I'm like, how much to go to Paris for the weekend? Like, what's the lowest I'll pay? They've been extremely expensive recently, the flights to Paris. They're not good flights either. But so that being said, I feel like if I'm going to live there, I need it to be like the Manhattan dream, you know? I think that if I moved there to live in Brooklyn or one of the other surrounding boroughs, I would be like, I almost have the dream, but it still takes 40 minutes to get anywhere that you want to go in Manhattan. Like I would want to go because I want to like experience living life in Manhattan because that's what's like in my head.
Okay, that's fair.
So I think that it would be like if I moved to Paris, but I moved like an hour outside the city. And it's like, that might still be wonderful, but I would be like, come on, like I have to travel an hour and now I claim that I live in Paris. But anytime someone's like, let's grab a croissant. I have to drive an hour.
Right.
You know, like it's like I'm almost there.
That's like Manayunk, honestly.
Oh my
Or
God, yes.
Roxborough.
That's exactly, I completely agree. There's two neighborhoods in Philly that are very close to, it's basically like where I grew up in the burbs, and then you have the next town is this town called Roxborough that is in Philly, but you wouldn't even know it. If you were driving through it, you'd be like, we're still in the burbs, or like it kind of like almost feels like it as you drive like through. I don't know. It's a little bit hard to describe, but it feels very, very suburban, but it's technically in Philadelphia. So you're paying like Philadelphia taxes, which isn't the worst thing, but it is just higher in the city than it is outside the city. And you're just still like nowhere near the city center.
Yeah, and the thing with Manayunk that's interesting is like it really is one street of like stuff.
Oh yeah. And then you have Manayunk, which is like a tinge closer than Roxborough to like center city. And it's very similar to Brooklyn, how it has its own little like downtown nightlife, but I'm making it seem like it's still like an hour. It's a 12-minute Uber, like if there's no traffic, to center city.
I mean, that's like 5 a.m. You'll get that.
Or going home. Yeah, from the bar.
Yeah, going home.
Yeah. But no, it's still like just far enough that you're like, ugh, I have to take public transit or an Uber. Like you can't walk to center city easily.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think all of those would feel as if I'm almost there. I almost made it to the big city, like to Manhattan. And then I'm in Brooklyn. I'd be like, ugh. But I don't want to hate on Brooklyn because Brooklyn is its own
I was gonna
society
say,
and people love it there.
Yes. I think I prefer Brooklyn. Like the more times I've spent there the past couple years, it just like it's a little quieter.
Yeah.
Manhattan, it's like so overwhelming sometimes. I think where we were, which was like uptown, it's a little quieter.
Yeah.
But as soon as you hit like midtown and then below that, I'm like, whoa, this is just like the Lower East Side. We spent a good chunk of time there Friday. And I'm like, this is not, I know this is where like the cool kids want to be, but I'm like, this is not really my vibe.
Which one was Lower East Side? Like, was that where we got breakfast?
Yeah.
See, I think even that was quiet. When I was there, this is what I mean about like, I want like the city vibe that I romanticize. I feel like I want to live like near the plaza. Like if I'm going to live, I want to like be right next to Central Park, be able to people watch and like see all the tourists, and then easy access to almost anywhere in the city when you're there. It's just so crazy to me that New York, Manhattan specifically, is so big that we were in the Upper East Side. To get to like FiDi would probably take an hour. If not more. Yeah. That's one thing that I really like about Philly. It's so small.
I literally have this conversation all the time with like a couple of my friends who are back and forth from New York a lot. Back
and forth from New York, sneaking in your bed. I once believed love would be burning.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
It's golden.
Love it.
Sorry.
It's okay.
You said it so perfectly.
It had to be done.
Yeah.
No, we say that all the time, how like Philly, it's like if you live in South Philly and want to get to Fishtown, 10 minutes.
No.
12 minutes. Fine. 12 minutes.
Wait, in a car?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's true.
And like there's never intercity traffic either, unless you're going into Center City on like prime times. Okay, sure. But like.
Okay, wait. I think I have to disagree with that. There's never traffic.
Well, I said unless it's prime times.
Okay.
But like, I don't know. When I'm walking around the city, it's like most lanes are just like open.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
I guess I'm comparing it to New York. Not like there's never traffic, but it's never New York traffic.
Yes.
It's never
absolutely.
like, I feel like there's bumper to bumper even at like 7 a.m. on a Saturday.
Yeah.
In New York. And I'm like, that's just, Philly has pockets of times where it's very chill. It's never chill in Manhattan.
Yes, that is one thing. It is interesting because when you're comparing like all these neighborhoods that are around Center City, the city center is very small, but I feel like the city center is what you compare to Manhattan. And then like Manayunk is Brooklyn, West Philly is like Queens, or I don't know, whatever. Like there's these surrounding neighborhoods that are bigger. So yeah, if you're going to drive from like West Philly, like, I don't know, to like South Philly or the Northeast or something, like maybe that would take a little bit longer than 10 minutes. But like in the city center, it does not take nearly as long to travel around as it does in Manhattan.
Also, like when you travel from Philly to New York, you get off at Penn Station, you got to find your right subway, then you might have to transfer a couple times. So you could still be taking an hour to get where you actually need to be, versus New York coming to Philly. I'm like, okay, you got to go to Old City, you got to go to Fairmount. It's like 10 to 20 minutes to
Right.
get where you need to be. And it's
Yeah.
like, you're there. And then in New York, sometimes it's like, yeah, the train is only an hour and a half, but you have to factor in like the extra travel time it takes to even get where you need to be.
Right.
And it's kind of this extra level of like exhaustion sometimes.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, like, yeah, I'm here, but now I gotta like actually get to where I need to be.
It's crazy to me that I took the bus from, like, basically I had a laser hair appointment in Midtown, kind of near Penn Station. And so I was traveling on Saturday morning from Upper East Side to Midtown. That trip took longer than it takes to get to Center City from where I grew up. And like, I grew up in the suburbs. Like, yes, a very close suburb to Center City, but it takes a shorter amount of time to get to Center City from my childhood home than it does to get from Upper East Side to Midtown, Herald Square specifically.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's actually Midtown. It seems like it's Midtown. It seems like it's in the middle of the town.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's so crazy to me.
That is actually really crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I imagine living there is like, can be really exhausting sometimes when you are like, oh, I live here, but I have dinner plans here. And then it's like an hour and a half on the subway.
That is wild. And then that's another question I have. When people are living in New York and they're in their like 20s, 30s, and they're going out a lot, are they getting dressed up in these like really cute outfits that we see these like New York influencers wearing, and their heels and like their shoes that aren't made for walking? Are they walking to the subway, getting on the subway, and then walking to the restaurant? Or are they like Ubering most of the time?
I feel like who you're referring to are Ubering.
Okay.
Like influencers.
Yeah.
I feel like that's actually a good point. I never really think about how they get around.
Because I was thinking that when we're going out, because not only are Ubers more expensive than public transit, but sometimes they take so long. I guess, though, when you're going out at night, I've just had bad experiences taking cars in Manhattan during the day, and it takes so long. And it's like, why am I not Uber? Like, I remember a few years ago, actually it was pre-COVID, I met this girl on Instagram and we met up in Manhattan, and I was meeting her like on my way out. So I was going from the coffee shop to Penn Station to leave, and she was like, oh, how are you getting there? And I was like, oh, I'm gonna call an Uber. And she was like, oh, wait, like she was so confused as to why I was calling an Uber. And she's like, you know, the subway would be way faster. But it was when I was like right out of college, and I did not know New York very well, and I was just really scared to take the subway. So I was like, oh, I don't know how to take the subway. Like, I don't understand the system. So I'll just Uber. She's like, oh, okay. Like, she was like, I know she like wanted to convince me to take the subway. But yeah, I was like, even stuff like that, like in New York, Uber is like a luxury or not a luxury, but like, yeah, I kind of think it is.
Yeah.
Whereas in Philly, like you have to take Ubers places because the public transit is so bad.
Yeah.
And unreliable.
Unreliable for sure. I've waited for the bus. Just never comes. And I'm like, there's no update on the app. It's just like, sometimes it just doesn't come.
Yeah.
And you're like, cool.
It's so annoying.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do really like New York. I feel like New York's public transit is so great. It reminds me of Europe. Like when you're in Europe, it's just like like everything's a breeze over there with the public transit. It's so easy. And it feels almost like a luxury experience because they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Whereas here in southeastern Pennsylvania, it's literally like a battle sometimes to take public transit, which is so annoying.
Although I do feel like Philly is like really just, it's a Philly problem. Like DC.
Yeah, that's a good point.
DC has great transit. What are the other major cities it's like New York, DC, Boston, I think is pretty good.
Okay, I've never been there. I actually went a few years ago, went to Hawaii, and it was when I was in college. Why am I saying a few years ago? I guess it was, but it's like more than a few. But in college, I went to Hawaii, Oahu, and my friend and I who went, we didn't want to rent a car because we didn't have that much money. So we got bus passes, and the bus system on Oahu is amazing. And when we got there, somebody told us like, oh, you know, the bus system at Oahu is like the best in the world. It's like,
really?
It's like world renowned. I don't know if that's true or if they were just saying that, but it kind of seemed legit. Like it was amazing.
Huh.
Yeah, you can get almost anywhere on a bus. I mean, it takes a while. Yeah, I love Hawaii. I'll go anytime. Like actually anytime to Oahu. It's like an easy trip for me now because I've been like a couple times. And I feel like when I say that, people are like, oh my God, like, wow, like must be nice, like privilege. Obviously, it's a privilege to travel, but you can do Hawaii for cheaper. Like there are flights, $5.50 round trip from here.
Wow.
Maybe not Philly, maybe Newark, but sometimes Philly.
Always Newark, isn't it?
Sometimes Philly though. Like cheaper flights, and then you can figure it out. You don't have to stay at the Four Seasons every time.
Right.
You don't have to eat out every night. Like when I'm going, I'm not like, staying at a resort and like living in luxury. I'm like going for a while and staying in like a condo.
Yes.
And like,
that's actually a
grocery
good point,
shopping.
because I feel like people say when you get older, you want to like spend more money on hotels and all that. And I'm like, I am not really there yet. And I don't know if I ever will be, especially
that's interesting
for Europe, because like, I've graduated from hostels. Like when I was traveling abroad in college, I was staying at hostels, and I don't think I could do that now.
Okay.
But I went to Italy a couple years ago with my cousin, and we stayed at very like, I'm pretty sure they were like 2-star hotels, just like the simplest places. And I totally am fine with that. Like you're literally never in the hotel.
That's exactly how I feel. And like there are some vacations where the hotel is the trip. Like if you're going to a resort, like there are specific resorts that are made to be like this experience. Sure, if you want that, then you need to pay for that. But yeah, if you're going somewhere to travel around, I really don't understand the luxury resort thing yet either. I agree with that. And I even went to Vermont like 2 years ago with friends, and I sent this like Airbnb that was so close to the mountain. And when specifically skiing, I'm like waking up early, driving to the mountain, staying there all day, and then going home and going to bed. Like maybe watching a movie, cozying up and going to bed, because you're so tired. And it's just like a cozy Vermont. Like I remember I sent this one Airbnb that was so ugly to my friend, and he was like, anywhere but this. And I was like, wait, really? Like I don't care. Like it's so close to the mountain.
Yeah.
And we found something that was like, I feel like there's other places you can find that are like equally as cheap, I guess. Like, but yeah, I'm really like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I would rather spend the money on the ski pass or like I don't know, like, or just multiple trips.
Like in France, I think we did a good job. We found like very middle of the road, nice places, but like nothing fancy.
Yeah, I think also it just takes more time to find these like budget hotels that are actually very nice. Like when we went to France, we stayed in, the first one was an Airbnb, but it was managed by a hotel. Yeah. So it was this whole condo. It was so nice.
So nice.
Very cheap comparatively though. And then we went to Nice, stayed in, I think that was considered a budget hotel. Yeah. But it was fine for what we needed. Like it was actually very clean. The only issue, and this is, I've learned just a European issue, no air conditioning, or like the air conditioning sucks. And it was so hot. Yeah. But like whatever, that's just how they live there. Yeah. And then in Paris, I would still think that that's considered a budget hotel, right? Yeah. Maybe that's a little step above.
Maybe.
But that was I would suggest the hotel we stayed in Paris to anyone. Same. It was so cozy. The staff was so nice. The lobby was so nice, but it was this like small little like tucked away place that was in a neighborhood I feel like you wouldn't recommend for like tourists, but it was so real. Like everyone outside was like normal Parisian, like it was not great. A tourist. Like it was so cool.
And honestly, like the free breakfast, that really counts for something too.
Yes. In Paris we didn't have free, but in Nice we had a free breakfast.
It was great.
It was amazing.
But also in Paris, and I would feel this way in New York and London, it's like those major cities, you almost don't even want free breakfast because you're going to be like, I just want a croissant at like a cafe. Yeah. And it's like €5, like whatever.
Yeah, it's less, I feel like. Yeah. Even. Yeah. So. Yeah, I agree. In Nice, it was perfect because then you like get a little breakfast and then get on the train to like go out for the day. Yeah. Yeah, that was so cool. How did you feel about hostels? I've never stayed in a hostel. Like, can you explain actually what it's like?
So yeah, when I studied abroad...
Rebecca always feels bad about talking about studying abroad, and I'm like, no, I want to hear it. You really don't. The thing is, you bring it up like I know, but twice a year, which is not a lot, but there's that stereotype that's like when someone studies abroad, they never stop talking about it. Yeah. But that is not you.
Okay, thanks. It's just funny because I am 30 and I did this when I was 21. Okay. Actually like 20.
That is kind of funny, actually.
So it's like twice a year. It's still kind of a lot when it's been a decade.
But it sticks with you for life.
It does. It does, you guys.
Not that I would know because I never studied abroad.
So yes, that was the last time I did hostels. I will say, even at 20 years old, it was a little tough for me. The one hostel especially didn't have a bathroom. You had to go in the hallway for the bathroom, and it was shared by the whole hallway.
Wait, isn't that isn't that pretty typical? Like, what is a hostel? I feel like I don't even, like, I picture it as like a room with bunk beds and like a locker, and maybe there's 4 or 6 in there.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So do any of them have their own bathroom?
I think for the one I did in Dublin, it had a bathroom in it.
And then who would use that bathroom? Like the 6 bunk beds?
Yeah.
And then is there like another room over there that's 6 bunk beds and they have a second bathroom?
Yeah, the one I'm thinking of in Dublin was like, I think it was 3 bunk beds.
Okay, so there would be 6 people?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the shared bathroom, I'm pretty sure it was in the room.
Okay.
The one I'm specifically thinking of, it was like it was like a loft of bunk beds. I couldn't even tell you how many people were in this room. And then the bathroom was in the hallway, and it was just like I can't even think about it. It was really gross. I didn't even shower because I just was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this.
It just seemed like not well kept.
Yeah, but you're spending 12 euros a night. And I think that one had free breakfast. So it's like,
how is it free if it's 12 euros a night? That's insane.
Yeah, but that was the hostel life, just like, taking your chances.
And so you are sharing this bedroom with strangers.
Yeah.
And then you have this locker to put your stuff in.
Yeah, you get changed. Everyone's just kind of accepting this is like what you're doing.
Wow. I mean, that's really cool because obviously it can go wrong if you have the wrong people in there with you. But for the most part, like in the world, most people are normal and most people are good. That's how we have these like normal societies, like for the most part. Yeah. But so, yeah, I get it. Like with the changing in front of people and like, I don't know, because you hit a certain point that you're like, I don't want to look at that person, and I'm guessing they don't want to look at me either. Yeah. Like most people are like, I don't care about you. You're a stranger and I'm not going to like, I don't know.
And I will say it's interesting because you would think it's like, oh, like 18-year-olds, crazy. And it's like, no, a lot of people are older.
Wow.
And they're like backpackers, and this is how they live their life. They just like do this all the time, and they kind of pick up work wherever they go. Like they're very much like nomads. And so I thought that was cool too, how it was like just like adults.
That is cool.
Who just really have a different way of living.
So did they have, the thing that I would always get worried about is when I travel, I have my laptop and my camera.
Yeah.
So do those people have, I'm guessing they have a laptop because they work random places. Do they have any other like very valuable stuff? Or is it for the most part, like they don't really have like a skincare routine or like they don't have a lot with them?
I feel like they just don't have a lot. Like the backpackers, for instance, it's like you carry what you bring with you all day.
Okay. So no one leaves it in there.
I think some people do. I don't remember leaving. Like I would always bring my passport with me.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff like that. Because, they have lockers, but anyone could like break a lock,
Yes. Oh my God. I think about Blue Crush too.
Never saw it.
It's like, I'm not going to say it's terrible because I like it. But like compared to the first one, it's just so dumb. But she gets to South Africa. Mm-hmm. And this guy's like following her on a bus. And then she puts all of her stuff in a locker to go surfing. And she gets back and the locker is like torn through. And the guy on the bus had stolen like, I forget exactly, sentimental things. Like she didn't have like a laptop, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so I don't know if I could do that now.
I was always very scared of hostels. Like even when my friend and I went to Hawaii, we were 19 at the time, and there are hostels there. And the thought of staying in a room with strangers really made me feel like extremely anxious, even though the price was amazing. I think it was $30 a night, and it was like right on the North Shore. And we actually got there and happened to meet people on the North Shore. And I guess it is like a young person like thing, because we were like, yeah, we're here for 2 weeks and like blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, okay, you're staying at the hostel. We're staying there too. Like they like assumed that we were staying there. Mm-hmm. And we're like, oh no, we're like in town or whatever. And they're like, they were so surprised that we weren't staying at the hostel because just everyone who's a young person on the North Shore, I guess, stays there if they're there for weeks at a time. Like, which is so interesting. But it's definitely not something that I'm like, I wish I could have done that. But it is like, I am curious about it. Mm-hmm. I do think I'd be scared the whole time though, even though I just got done my rant saying that like most people are normal, which I do believe. Yeah. But I still would be like a little scared.
I don't think I would do it alone. If you're with a friend, it makes it easier knowing that you're falling asleep at least with one other person you know.
Yeah.
This one time though in Dublin, it was a room of, again, like 6 people. And there was this one guy that was snoring. Like, it was not normal. Like, it was the loudest you've ever heard in your life. It woke all of us up. And it was funny because, like, again, besides my one friend, we were all strangers. Mm-hmm. And we all just were, like, laughing all night. Like, it was just, like, a cute little moment. Because it's like we're all bonded by this obnoxious snorer who clearly has sleep apnea.
Wait, that is so crazy that like that's a thing.
Yeah.
Like you're just in the room with randoms.
Yeah, and you're just like putting your trust in it.
Yeah. That I think that I don't know. I don't know if I'm cut out for that. But it's crazy that it's $12 a night. I was going to say when you were saying the thing about not taking a shower for $12 a night and they give you free breakfast, how could they possibly be taking care of the place and cleaning it well? Because I just feel like how are you paying someone with that rate, first of all, to do a good job? And also makes me think of my friend's brother. My friend's brother was in the military, and I don't know if this was at a military school or at like a base or something. I think it was at, I don't know, whatever. Doesn't matter. He took a shower in like a public shower and he got a flesh-eating bacteria on his foot.
Stop.
Yeah. And had to go to the hospital. Like it was like flesh-eating. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, but...
When you wear flip-flops, is that why?
Yeah, I think so. And there were times like freshman year of college, if I was like really like lazy or if I don't know, where I'm like, whatever, it's one day, I'm just doing it. And thankfully my college dorm was extremely well kept. Like they had great cleaners who did a great job, which is, I feel like I got very lucky because I'm sure not everyone is like, or not every place is like that. But yeah, after she told me like she would never go into a public shower without shoes on because of that. Like she like knew the person it happened to, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah. And now I tried. I mean, I haven't been in like a public shower. I feel like now the only public shower you would use is like a gym or something. And
I don't even do that.
I don't go to a gym right now. I have like, I used to go to this gym with a pool but they had like individual showers. Not that makes them like cleaner or less cleaner, whatever. But yeah, those were also very clean. I guess it's like a vibe you get. But you know what? Maybe it's not, because maybe he thought he'd be fine without it.
Right. Do people though I belong to a pretty nice gym and I never like noticed this, but do people wear flip-flops still? Even like if you belong to an Equinox, sound off in the comments. Like, are you wearing flip-flops?
That's a great question.
I'm just very interested. Yeah. Because I've never showered at the gym because I just like live close. It doesn't really matter. But
I wonder though if that has to do with like, well, first of all, I think it's personal regardless of how clean or unclean the gym feels. Yeah. I think some people will always wear them. And then I think there's like the second tier of people that go off of vibes. Yeah. And they're like, if it feels clean, maybe I'll do it. If not, I'll wear it. And then you have the bottom tier of people, not the bottom, I'm like ranking them. And I'm just saying like you have this other tier that like the people don't really care at all. And they're like, whatever. I like they don't understand, or not that they don't understand. That was a patronizing comment. That they don't know that there's a possibility of getting a flesh-eating bacteria because they never heard like the story of the friend of a friend who it happened to. Right. I don't know. I think I'm in the middle tier, honestly, because the gym that I went to with the pool was so clean and it was expensive for what it was, and it was just very well maintained. And I think that when I came in from the pool and I like stopped in the shower, I don't think I was wearing shoes at that point. Maybe I was though. Actually, now I forget because I might have worn shoes because I don't like going into bathrooms without shoes. And so I probably would have gotten changed into my bathing suit, went to the bathroom on the way, and then walked out. And I don't think I would have done that without shoes on.
Yeah. I was at a communal sauna recently. I didn't wear shoes. They gave you flip-flops, but there were moments where I wasn't wearing them. Yeah. So like that's a good point. I was going off of vibes. Yeah. But there was also a guy with a mop like constantly. Right. Constantly in and out. So
that's how it was at the pool that I used to go to. Okay, like it was it like smelled like bleach. Yeah. Like there was nothing, there was no dust, like nothing, no dirt on the floor that you could see at least. So yeah. Huh. You just be careful out there, honestly. It's the bacteria thing that freaks me out. And then also I heard that you shouldn't take your shoes off on a plane because they never clean them like super well. Why would you ever do that? Do people do that? Take your shoes off on a plane? Like, oh, I think that's extremely common. Bare feet. Oh, well, I think it's extremely common to wear socks, like take off your sneakers and wear socks. That's fine. And then I think there are people that take off their shoes and wear bare feet. But I've seen flight attendants and other just like passengers make videos about like, do not do this. And I've seen flight attendants make videos, this is why I brought it up, make videos about seeing passengers going to the bathroom with no shoes on, like bare feet. Stop. And they said that like, if there is wetness on the floor in the bathroom, like it's not water. I'm gonna vomit. I just have to share with everyone, you know, everyone needs to know these things. Don't go to the bathroom on a plane without your shoes on.
I think people think because it's carpeted, it's cleaner.
100%.
And no.
I would think that. Like if I had to guess, like, would you rather walk across that carpet or that like tile floor that everyone else has been using?
I can't even
Which
think
one
about
would
it.
you Which one would you pick? I would pick the carpet. And I feel like that's like a subconscious thing that people like. You would pick the tile?
No, I'm saying tile floors give me the ick.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm just thinking, oh, I can't think about it.
Sorry.
It's giving, like, thinking about like wet tile floors, like, ew.
I know. Ew.
Please.
It is weird.
Help.
Wet tile floors. Can we make that the episode title? Wet
It's too
tile
much.
floors.
It's too much.
We can make the episode. Let's think of an episode. Oh, yeah. We should use a clickbait episode title.
Okay.
What should it be? Should it be like Beyonce's like new? No. Like, something with like a big celebrity.
For this episode?
Yeah. I've been thinking about using clickbait titles.
I stayed at a hostel. No, wait. Okay, wait. I gotta word this in my head.
I have an idea too, so I'll let you think of yours. And
No,
I'll say mine.
you can go.
Wait, really? It's not going to mess up your like.
No.
Okay. It could be why you should never use a public bathroom without shoes, or like never shower without shoes,
Okay.
or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you think?
A hostel stay gone wrong. Shock face.
Gone
Emoji.
wrong. Oh, I like that. Okay. Wow. Gone wrong, and it's like the bunkmate snored.
Yeah.
Do you remember that era of YouTube when all the YouTubers were like, I almost got kidnapped? And
Yes.
it's like, I opened the door for the Uber and they were like, Rebecca? And they're like, no, sorry, Sarah. And like closed it, like almost got kidnapped in LA.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said Sarah just now. I realized that Sarah is like my go-to name for like if I'm just like inserting a name.
That's my sister's name.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I did know that.
It's okay.
Even though I
If you
never
didn't.
met her.
Yeah.
Because she lives in Kentucky, okay?
And it always circles back to Terminal F.
Whoa, we literally started talking about planes and now we're ending talking about planes.
Wow. If you share this podcast, I will get you into the Chase Lounge.
Yes. If you share this podcast and prove it to me, I will pay your credit card bill for a year. No, I'm kidding. Once this
Wow.
podcast takes off, if you then prove to me that you shared this episode, once I make millions of dollars from this podcast, I will consider paying your credit card bill.
That's all you can ask for. A consideration.
A consideration. Okay. Yeah, we were talking about how we wanted to do more just like chatty episodes. And I feel like, what was that? Oh, that was the ice.
Okay. Oh, my God, this ice is like,
I know.
wow, spooky.
There's a cup of ice from a leftover iced coffee over there from this morning, and the ice is melting and it keeps shifting and moving, and every time we're like, the studio is haunted.
Yeah.
Clickbait.
Outside the studio, I feel like is also normally lit and it's not.
Yeah.
So it's throwing me off a little.
I forgot to address that. We changed the lighting in here, but although it kind of looks exactly the same so far.
Cozier.
Yeah, we're trying to make it darker, more cozy vibes. We got a table lamp over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Final notes.
Okay.
Subscribe to my Substack.
Yes. Link in bio.
Share this episode, share this podcast
Please.
with all your friends, and follow us on Instagram. It's a fun time. We're going to be more. I went public on Instagram, you guys. I've been private the whole time I've had this Instagram, and I'm like, you know what? Whatever.
Mask off.
Mask off.
Wow. That's exciting.
It is exciting. Big moves. Big
moves.
life changes.
For reals. Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening. We love you. We appreciate you. Oh yeah, I was gonna say I forget if I finished my sentence because of the ice.
You did.
But I was gonna say we wanted to do just more like chatty, like who we are, more about us, and just like getting to know us rather than just like talking about other people.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully you liked it.
We're evolving over here.
We are. We love you. We appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.